Hello, it is I again. Um, on yet another day of this. Um, I really don't feel like doing this, but I have enough energy to force myself to do it. So fuck it, I'm gonna do it. This is low ass effort content. No editing, obviously. Definitely no script. Um, but it's just one of those things that I decided every day I'm just gonna brute force my way to do something that I know I can't really fail in because the only task that's at hand is getting it done, and that's this. Is just I have to do this. And that is just turning on a camera and rambling about some bullshit in my brain to a damn near, at least for the time being, non-existent audience. I guess it's almost like a video diary. This is almost like the type of shit you see in a movie or I guess maybe like a role-playing game or something where like, that random guy who's like who's like corpse you found in a corner had a bunch of like audio logs in his computer, and you wonder like why the fuck did this guy have the urge to sit down and record himself for a non-existent audience and basically almost like record it seemingly intentionally so that like the player character just finds their audio logs or something to get narrative dumps or something on them. And I feel like I'm basically doing that right now. Like I don't know, maybe the apocalypse is imminent and my computer's going to survive and some fucking lone survivor is going to come across my obliterated corpse in a corner, but find my intact laptop and watch these audio recordings, or sorry, video recordings of some weird, awkward, lonely hermit millennial guy who had nothing better to do than record this at 1:18 in the morning. So there you go. Hello, potential fucking future apocalypse survivor guy. I hope you find this remotely compelling. I don't know. So what was I going to talk about today? I guess I could actually talk about that. The apocalypse. That actually came up today. I was online with a couple of friends of mine and we were chatting about stuff about moving and everything. I've already moved out of the United States. But my friends were considering the same as well, considering how things are going down there politically. And one of my friends mentioned, though, how he was saying how, like, if Donald Trump somehow starts World War III, that, like, it won't even matter if he moves or not because, nothing's going to really matter at that point. And I kind of was like, I responded to him with this, too. And I was thinking, like, I don't, and again, this is just, knock on wood, you know, me just being partially wishful thinking here. But I think there is a part of me that also just maybe it's my conspiracy brain where I just don't think that that's ever going to really happen. I kind of feel like this whole dynamic of like country rivalry and shit like that, that it's all kind of a bit of a stage play, a very morbid stage play. Like obviously, real people are dying for sure in the massive droves, and it's fucking horrifying and terrifying. But like, I feel like the way in which global conflict is sort of facilitated between these supposedly rival countries is done in a very economically feasible way. Like, countries go to war with each other, but they go to war with each other in a way that, like, makes them both gain profits in a strange way. Like, it's almost like a weird, morbid business deal. Like, arms manufacturers are making a fuckload of money, for instance, in pretty much all these global conflicts going on, like with like Israel Palestine, with like Russia Ukraine. I mean, I'm not even gonna like get into like whose side is right or wrong. I mean, I definitely have my opinions on that. Like, I think ethically speaking, I'm on the side of Ukraine, and also I'm on the side of the Palestinians. But I think beyond that, when it comes to the actual motives at hand, it I think that whatever sentiment that they express publicly is not the official reason for why, for instance, like Russia is invading Ukraine, or why uh, Israel is a basically genociding Palestine at this point. I think it's always just economic reasons. It's incredibly morbid, callous economic reasons that like there isn't really some genuine ulterior motive for the conflict. Like, for instance, like, well, Russia, it's more blatant that it's an economic reason, but even with like Israel, where they say like, oh, this is the Holy Land, we got to claim back the Holy Land from the Palestinians, and da 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 da. It's like, no, at the end of the day, I think it is just purely a monetary move. I mean, I don't even think that that's conspiratorial. I mean, when you looked at that, If you look at that like AI video that Donald Trump put out about him turning Gaza into like the fucking Gaza Strip or what into the well, Gaza Strip. It is the Gaza Strip. The Gaza like Vegas Strip, where he would make it like have a golden statue of himself on there, which is the most fucking creepy dystopian shit ever. Then it becomes evident that yeah, this is just one giant economic move. It's just business. And unfortunately, in this situation, because you know Gaza and the Palestinians are an incredibly, for lack of a better word, poor business, they're just going to get absorbed. They're going to get hostile takeover, their assets liquidated, and they will be absorbed into the larger corporation that is Israel. I hate that I'm saying it in these terms because these are fucking human lives that are at stake here. Where there's people that are getting murdered by the tens of hundreds of thousands at this point, or whatever the fuck. I don't know what the death toll is, but it's high as hell. But like, if you look at it in a completely cold way, it is just like one company absorbing another company as like a hostile takeover. While when it comes to global conflicts between bigger superpowers, they're too big to like absorb one or the other. So instead, they just kind of have this like company rivalry between each other. And I think I'm just saying all this stuff about where I think that like when it comes to this notion of like World War III, or at least like a hot World War III, because there's some speculation saying that we are currently in World War III, that it's just, but that this is just how it's being fought nowadays, that it's being fought with proxies, it's being fought with weaker countries, so to speak, that are being backed up because they know that were they to go the full Monty and just go to war directly with each other, it would invariably result in nuclear war. But nuclear war is bad for business, which is why I personally, and again, knock on wood again, don't think that that will ever happen. Because that would be almost like if two companies were like, well, we can kind of keep this sort of business rivalry between each other and kind of poke shots at each other, across the bow, and even use like our subsidiary companies to kind of do business warfare with each other. Or we could just like make an option that just somehow destroys the entire fucking economy so we all go down with the sinking ship. Like, why the fuck would they ever do that? Like, I think that they would rather maintain having a business rival that's functioning, but is like also ensuring that they're still functioning, than just be like literally and more metaphorically nuking the entire economy. Because like war is great for business, but nuclear war is the single worst thing for business. So I don't know. I think that that's at the end of the day, that is what the calculations are here. The calculations are just what is profitable. Like, I just think our entire global governments of this planet are just purely functioning on selfish profit motive, which is fucking up our planet, obviously, in plenty of other ways. But I don't think it would ever lead to that. I think realistically, what's going to be the real disaster for humanity is, and again, this is not at all an unpopular opinion, I think it's going to be like ecological devastation and climate change. I think that that's going to be the real, more realistic, um, big bad wolf that we have to worry about, not nuclear warfare. Because I just don't, like I said, I just don't think that that is economically feasible. And I think that climate change is like, it's getting more obvious for sure, but it's still a lot more subtle than the notion of like literally just blowing up the fucking planet. That I think there's still that just kind of intangibility to it that people are not really going to take it seriously, and in turn not going to take seriously how badly it's going to fuck up the economy until it's too late, because it's sneaking up on us. It's sneaking up on us in a very subtle manner. Um, and I think that like until it really, really, really rears its ugly head completely and we can't deny it anymore, it's just not going to be a big deal basically for profits. In fact, I mean, profits are still doing just fine in the world, even with climate change getting worse. It's not having really any impact on global economic profits. And like I said, it won't really have big impacts on global economic profits until it utterly fucks up civilization. Um, Anyways, I don't know. I don't know if I had anything else more to say about that. I feel like that just conversation just sort of made it occur to me that I just don't really think that this whole thing about World War III is really that realistic. I think. Well, yeah. The other thing I wanted to say about that is I actually think that there's like, and this is where I get more conspiracy brained. I think that there is sort of a weird deal between countries that keep saber rattling with each other, the big countries, like Russia, China, America, and stuff like that, that they almost have a weird deal with each other where they kind of ham up their hatred for each other. They kind of always make it seem like, oh yeah, we're potentially on the verge of like World War III with this nation, and you should be very, very terrified of the prospect that like it could be any day now. It could be any day now. We might actually go into a hot war with this big country, and ooh, that would be fucking horrendous. It could mean huge global conflict, maybe even the end of the world. But they're always hamming up this like fear in the public, and I feel like there's maybe not an express deal, but like an implied deal below the surface that like, yeah, let's ham up a rivalry with each other to kind of distract the public and keep them complicit. Um, that like, because like a scared populace is like an easier populace to control. So I kind of think that it's sort of in their best interest that people are perpetually scared of the prospect of there being potentially a World War III or nuclear war, but never actually delivering on it. Just always being on that brink so the population is on edge, but never actually going through with it because, like I said, it'd be fucking horrible for the economy. It'd be horrible for everything involved. It'd be horrible for the global powers involved if they ever did that. But what is good for them is to make sure that people are always scared that it might happen, that it could almost always be happening. Like, it's the same reason why, I mean, and this has pretty much been proven, why the whole thing about, Democrats and Republicans, um, the rivalry between them, that's hammed up bullshit as well. I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't definitive political differences between the two. There is. I mean, it's mostly social issues, let's face it. Economically, they're very, very fucking similar. But that's what matters. It's the economic things. That's what really matters to them, at least. I'm not saying social issues don't matter. They do. So I can understand why you'd want to support one party or the other, depending on what your social views are. I mean, mine being more left-wing social views. But, social issues are definitely important. But, like, again, what really fucking matters to the powers that be, and honestly, what really matters to even more than social issues to the average citizen is economic shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, giving gay people the right to get married is great and all, but like, I think technically what's a more important issue that affects everybody is like, how much is the minimum wage? And that's an issue that like everybody should be on board with, but they keep stoking the flames between half the population against the other half of the population by having them focus on like, no, don't focus on the minimum wage thing. Focus on the gay issue. Yeah, focus on like the gay people getting married. Like, yeah, you should focus on either supporting the rights for them or fighting against the rights for them. But like, just don't fucking pay attention to the fact that you like want to get a higher paycheck at your minimum wage job. Just keep that on the down low. Focus more on this shit. I mean, obviously that stuff still comes up, but it's constantly getting sort of distracted. The focus of it is constantly getting distracted by this constant emphasis on like social issues. And I don't know. I think what especially made it clear to me is just when you hear these anecdotes of how like these supposed rival political parties are just like buddy with each other behind closed doors, and that has been like proven. That's not me being conspiratorial. Like, there's been anecdotal evidence of people seeing how they just kind of shake hands, hang out with each other, get chummy. I mean, it's been on fucking camera. I mean, I saw most recently when Donald Trump and George Bush and Barack Obama and I think like a bunch of other politicians, they were over at like Jimmy Carter's funeral that happened a few months ago, and they were all like just yucking it up with each other. Especially the craziest, but like Donald Trump and fucking Obama were hanging out with each other, and they were like laughing and chumming it up, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I thought that like the whole reason Trump even decided to run for president is because of like spite to Obama, and now he's over here yucking it up and being smiley and friendly with Obama at Jimmy Carter's Jimmy Carter's funeral dinner. Jesus, that'd be a pretty morbid dinner. Jimmy Carter's dinner, funeral / dinner. Well, I guess they had dinner afterwards, but I don't know what I was implying. Funeral dinner. Anyways, Jesus, I'm fucking tired. But anyways, my point is, it's just that made it so clear to me that it's like, yeah, this is just bullshit. Like, it's just bullshit. At the end of the day, they're buddy with each other because it's them. They're still the elite class, and they're trying to keep regular folks in sort of the position of being a sucker. Like, maybe there is some degree of genuine beef between each other, but like it's so minuscule in the grand scheme of things for them. Like, they can have their own little petty rivalries, but at the end of the day, they know like whatever. Like, we're in the money together. We get it. We're we have our own each other's mutual best interests at heart at the end of the day. So I think just the point I'm saying is like, I don't know, that just made it so fucking clear to me that like this whole illusion of the two parties is just, it's just there to fucking distract people, just there to make people diminish their energy with fighting with each other. So yeah, it both turns the population against itself, and it also just makes people just have literally less energy than to fight the people that really matter, and it's those fucking elite shitbags. I mean, I don't know. I think that that's more and more the reason why, like, even though I do consider myself like to be a very left wing person politically, like on social issues, I'm more and more reluctant to like. I definitely don't want to call myself a Democrat. Fuck no. But I'm reluctant to like take any of these like left wing labels. I don't want to call myself a socialist or any of this stuff like that. Um, Not just because like I don't agree with everything. Like, I always find that weird that like, oh, if you're part of a political movement, you've got to like, if you're on the left, you've got to follow all these, all of these issues. You can't stray out. This is what a left wing person has to fall in line with. It feels almost it's very dogmatic. It almost feels like quasi religious to me. Like, you have to follow the tenets of being on one end of the political spectrum, the other. Like, it very much discourages free thinking, which I always find very fucking weird. And it's like, while I said like, even if I do think freely, I do tend to just coincidentally, I guess, fall more in line on left wing issues, but not 100%. And I don't think it should be taboo to be like, I'm not somebody who falls 100% in line on the left wing or the right wing. And especially when it comes to like, again, the really important issues, which I think like 90% of people should agree on, or 99% of people really should agree on. And it's like, okay, do you want to live in a society where you can have like a decent job that respects you, where you make decent money, you have some kind of healthcare benefits, you can retire at a decent age, you don't have to work excessively long fucking hours, and then even just beyond that, like, I think everybody wants to have like some degree of like a satisfying social life and have like a proper sense of community where people aren't like all weirdly disconnected from each other. Which, ironically enough, I kind of feel like the fact that I don't know, there's like something with just like the fact I'm posting this, I guess, technically on social media. I guess YouTube is social media, kind of, is a bit ironic, but whatever. I digress. I don't know. I just think that like on issues like that, it's like most people want the same thing. It doesn't matter what their political stances are. They want to be, have the freedom to like live a decent fucking life and have some enjoyment in that life and be treated respectfully for the work that they put into life. And that's it. Like, do we have to bring politics into that? Like, I don't fucking think so. I mean, even if you do have different social positions, like, I'm sure that the average person, if they're reasonable enough, could be like, yeah, maybe I don't agree with you on social issues, but like, as long as you leave me alone and I leave you alone and we're respectful to each other, like, yeah, I can pursue my own version of a social existence and you can pursue your own version of a social existence, and we'll just be at peace with that. Like, I might even consider your type of lifestyle to be weird, but as long as it's not invading on mine, like, what the fuck do I care? And vice versa. I mean, like, this is such an incredibly random example, but like, I don't know why this is the first one that came to my head. I guess my mind's in the gutter. But like, okay, for instance, like off the top of my head, I think like BDSM is really fucking strange and bizarre. I don't get it. But like, as long as somebody's like doing that stuff in the privacy of their own home and isn't like forcing me to partake of their BDSM cult, I have absolutely no problem with that. Like, fucking have fun with it. Hell yeah. If that's what rocks your boat, what the hell do I care? Like, all the parties are consenting. Have fun. I mean, I'll judge it. I think it's very weird. I think it's kind of silly. I honestly, I don't even think it's like creepy. I just think BDSM is goofy as fuck. I can't take it seriously. I think it's the most like, and the fact that they take themselves quite seriously just makes it even goofier to me. But like, again, I think it's goofy as fuck. I think it's weird as fuck. I don't like it, but I don't give a single fuck about like prohibiting somebody from doing it as long as they're doing it, consensually and respectfully and all that stuff. Anyways, that's just the first example that came to mind. It's just, I don't know. I think most people could live that way, though. That most people could be like, even with different religions and stuff like that, they might consider the customs of another religion very strange and bizarre and maybe even stupid. But it's like, again, if it's not interfering with their own life, what the fuck do they care? Like, it's kind of like the gay marriage thing. Like, if you don't want to get gay married, don't get gay married, but don't fucking tell another person to not get gay married. Like, how the fuck does that affect your life? Who gives a shit? Just don't have gay marriage in your home. Like, just let other people get gay married. I don't know. This is obviously very libertarian sounding, which I guess maybe on some degree I am. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I think that was just my point of the day. I just think that at the end of the day, there really is just two fundamental factions in society, and it's the elites and the regular people. And the sad part about this is that the regular people make up 99.999999% of the population, and somehow the fucking elites are just, I don't know how they have so much goddamn power when, like, on some level, pretty much everybody, if you really get at them, will agree, like, fuck those bastards, they're fucking ruining everything. But it's like, there's like so few of them. Why are they able to ruin everything? I don't. And I think it's just that. It's just social conditioning. It's the fact that they've somehow managed to, like, get in our heads and get us to just waste our goddamn energy, like, fighting and hating on one another in these, like, civil wars, essentially, almost literally in some cases. And yeah, literally in some cases. When it's like they're the source of the problems, dude. They're the source of the problems. Like, fuck, maybe I'll have disagreements with you as a regular person to regular person, but, like, my disagreements with you should vastly pale in comparison to the disagreements I have with the people that are actively oppressing humanity and ruining the fucking planet. Anyways, so yeah, that's all I had to say. I don't know. Didn't expect that to quite go on so long. Um, I don't know if anybody watching this kind of agrees with me or not. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think I'm full of shit. Maybe you want to fight with me. Yeah, maybe you want to waste that energy of yours fighting with me in the comment section. Or, I mean, odds are you're probably like I said at the end of all my other videos, probably nobody's gonna ever fucking see this, or maybe one person who commented on my last video will. So maybe that same person's gonna show up again. But yeah, agree with me, don't disagree, don't agree with me. I don't care. That's your prerogative. But I feel like you should agree with me, at least on the front that, like, even if you're not a left wing person, if you're a right wing person, I don't fucking hate you. Definitely don't hate you. I mean, as long as you're not like ultra right wing, as long as you're not like a neo Nazi or Klan member. But I mean, even with those people, I don't even hate them either. I just think they're incredibly fucking brainwashed, and I'd rather they just come to their senses and stop believing in such dog shit. But I think the only faction of society I really hold any genuine hate for, like I said, the elite people of society. I'm totally fucking repeating myself right now. God, it's almost, oh my God, it's almost 1:40. I'm getting delirious. Anyways, that's enough of that. God, this is a pretty long one today. Yeah, that's that. So thank you for watching if you got this far. And if you didn't, well, then I don't even know why I'm talking to you, because you're not even listening. You've clicked away. So that's that. Good night and good luck.